When we think about getting older, it's easy to imagine that the hardest battles are behind us. After all, if you've made it to 80 and beyond, you've already faced decades of changes, challenges, and adjustments. But here's the quiet truth that many don't talk about. The body at this age plays by different rules. What once felt safe or natural in your 40s or 50s may slowly begin to work against you in your 80s. It isn't because you've done anything wrong, it's simply the way life unfolds. The body, like an old and wise tree, bends differently in the wind. Its branches are still beautiful, but they need gentler care. Think about it. The habits you've carried for years are like familiar companions. Some of them continue to serve you well, giving you strength and stability. Others, though, may quietly chip away at your energy without you noticing. That's the tricky part, because the damage doesn't happen overnight. It's subtle. It hides inside the routines that feel so ordinary you hardly question them. And yet, those routines can be the very thing standing between vitality and decline. There's something profoundly humbling about this stage of life. Aging asks us to release the illusion of control we once had and to replace it with awareness. The body no longer tolerates neglect or shortcuts. It whispers sooner, it protests louder, and it needs you to listen in ways you might not have had to before. Have you noticed how something as simple as a late meal, a skipped walk, or even a restless night takes longer to recover from now than it used to? That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Your body is telling you that it deserves more gentle attention, more balance, more respect. And the beautiful thing is, small changes can still bring enormous relief. The journey of aging is not about striving harder, it's about caring smarter. When you begin to notice which daily habits truly nurture you and which ones slowly wear you down, you open the door to a new kind of freedom. Not the freedom of youth where energy feels endless, but the freedom of wisdom where you get to choose what really matters for your well-being. So, before we begin to look closer at these hidden habits that may be silently draining you, let me ask something simple of you. Where are you reading this from right now? Are you sitting in your living room, maybe in your favorite chair by the window? Or perhaps you're in another part of the world, enjoying the quiet of a sunny morning or the stillness of evening. I'd truly love to know. Share your city or country in the comments below. One of the quietest but most damaging habits I've seen in people after 80 is skipping real meals. It often doesn't feel dangerous. Appetite becomes smaller, chewing may feel like a chore, or cooking for one just doesn't seem worth the effort. So you pour a cup of tea, nibble on a cracker, maybe have a little toast, and tell yourself it's enough. But your body, even now, needs so much more than that. Let me tell you about Maria, who is 83 and lives in Chicago. After her husband passed, she found cooking lonely. "Why go through all that for just me?" she would say. For months, her meals were tea, biscuits, and sometimes a bit of cheese. At first, it seemed harmless, lighter food, less work, fewer dishes. But slowly, she noticed her legs trembling when she stood, her memory fading in ways that frightened her, and a wariness that seemed heavier than grief alone. When her doctor finally ran tests, it turned out she wasn't sick in the way she feared. She was simply undernourished. Her body was asking for more protein, more vitamins, more fuel to carry her through the day. That's the surprising truth. At 80 and beyond, your body may actually need a higher quality of nutrition than ever before. Muscles thin more quickly. Bones ask for more support. The brain craves steady energy. A cup of tea and toast can fill your stomach, but it cannot feed your cells. I know cooking may feel like a burden, but think of nourishment as an act of self-compassion, not just a task. What if, instead of forcing yourself to cook elaborate meals, you simply added small, easy things that are rich in what your body craves? A boiled egg that takes only minutes, a bowl of yogurt with a sprinkle of seeds, soft vegetables blended into a soup, a handful of nuts if you tolerate them. These are simple, kind gestures toward your body. They don't require much effort, but they give back so much. Ask yourself gently, are you eating enough to feel strong tomorrow, or just enough to survive today? That question is not meant to judge, but to awaken awareness. Because it's easy to underestimate how much your body still does for you, beating, breathing, carrying you. Doesn't it deserve fuel that honors that work? And remember, eating well doesn't mean eating more than you want. It means choosing foods that matter, even in small portions. A few spoonfuls of nourishing soup are worth more than a plate of empty calories. Your body isn't asking for volume, it's asking for quality. Maria discovered this slowly. She started with just one habit, scrambled eggs in the morning. Then she added a soft stew in the evening. Within weeks, her energy returned in a way she thought was lost forever. Her legs steadied, her mind felt clearer, and her spirit lifted too. Food became not just survival, but a way of telling herself, I still matter. And so do you. If these kinds of gentle reminders feel useful, don't forget to subscribe. You'll find new insights like this every week, designed to help you care for yourself with wisdom and kindness. Water is life, and you've probably heard countless times that staying hydrated is one of the simplest ways to protect your health. And that's true, but here's something few people talk about. After 80, even the way you drink water needs a bit more care. At this age, your kidneys don't filter quite the way they used to. The balance of salts and minerals in your blood is more delicate, and your heart works a little harder with every beat. Drinking too much water too quickly can put strain on these systems, just as drinking too little can quietly dehydrate you. It's not about right or wrong, it's about harmony. I've seen many people believe they're helping themselves by forcing down large glasses at once, thinking they're flushing toxins. But what often happens instead is a sudden overload. Your body struggles to process it, your sodium levels may dip, and you might feel lightheaded. On the other hand, some people barely drink at all, saying, I'm not thirsty, so I don't need it. Yet thirst at this age isn't a reliable guide anymore. By the time you feel it, dehydration may already be affecting your energy, mood, and even memory. Have you noticed days when you feel unusually tired or foggy without explanation? Sometimes it's not age, it's simply your body quietly asking for water in a gentler rhythm. And here's another hidden challenge: drinking large amounts late in the evening. It seems harmless, but then comes the nighttime struggle. Waking again and again for the bathroom, risking a fall in the dark, losing the deep rest your body desperately needs. This isn't weakness, it's simply the body's way of saying, please be kinder with me. So what's the gentler path? Sip, don't gulp. A few mouthfuls of water every hour can be far more nourishing than a whole glass at once. Pair your water with something small, a piece of fruit, a few nuts, a spoon of yogurt, so your body absorbs it more steadily. Keep a cup nearby during the day, but taper off as evening approaches, giving yourself the gift of undisturbed sleep. Ask yourself gently, how do you feel after you drink? Do you notice swelling in your ankles, dizziness, or restless nights? Or do you feel steadier, clearer, calmer? Let these small observations be your guide. Your body, at this stage, is wiser than any health slogan. It doesn't ask for rules, it asks for attention. Think of water not as a chore, but as a quiet act of self-care, like watering a delicate flower. Not too much, not too little, just enough to keep it vibrant. Because that's what you are still, vibrant, deserving of balance, deserving of ease. Rest is a gift, and after 80, it often feels like you've earned every moment of it. Sitting in your favorite chair, reading, watching television, or simply gazing out the window, these are beautiful rituals of calm. But when sitting quietly stretches into hours without movement, the very body you cherish begins to lose some of its strength. Muscles slowly shrink, circulation slows, joints stiffen, and balance fades away almost without notice. It's not because you are weak, it's because the body, like any living thing, is built to move, even in the gentlest of ways. This isn't weakness, it's simply the body's way of saying, please be kinder with me. So what's the gentler path? Sip, don't gulp. A few mouthfuls of water every hour can be far more nourishing than a whole glass at once. Pair your water with something small, a piece of fruit, a few nuts, a spoon of yogurt, so your body absorbs it more steadily. Keep a cup nearby during the day, but taper off as evening approaches, giving yourself the gift of undisturbed sleep. Ask yourself gently, How do you feel after you drink? Do you notice swelling in your ankles, dizziness, or restless nights? Or do you feel steadier, clearer, calmer? Let these small observations be your guide. Your body, at this stage, is wiser than any health slogan. It doesn't ask for rules, it asks for attention. Think of water not as a chore, but as a quiet act of self-care, like watering a delicate flower. Not too much, not too little, just enough to keep it vibrant. Because that's what you are still. Vibrant, deserving of balance, deserving of ease. The good news is that you don't need intense exercise to keep your body resilient. You don't need gyms or complicated routines. You simply need small acts of kindness toward your own muscles and bones throughout the day. Think of them as little whispers of movement that remind your body, I am still here, I am still alive, and I care for you. Here's something you can try right now. Every hour, stand up and walk a few steps, even if it's just across the room. Feel the floor under your feet. Let your legs stretch. Let your chest open as you take a breath. If standing feels difficult, even shifting in your chair, lifting your arms, or rotating your ankles makes a difference. These micro movements keep blood flowing, joints nourished, and your body connected to life. Another gentle habit is practicing the sit-to-stand movement with a sturdy chair. Place your hands lightly on the armrests, press your feet into the ground, and rise slowly. Then sit back down with the same care. This simple act, repeated a few times each day, is more powerful than it looks. It trains the very muscles you rely on to rise from bed, to use the bathroom safely, to greet a friend at the door. It is a practice of independence disguised as a small exercise. Even while watching your favorite show, you can draw little circles with your wrists and ankles, or stretch your arms gently overhead. These movements may feel too small to matter, but they are not. Every tiny gesture of movement tells your body it is still loved, still important, still engaged with life. Ask yourself softly, how do you feel after sitting for long stretches? Do you notice stiffness, a heaviness in your legs, or perhaps a fog in your mind? And how do you feel after even a few minutes of moving? Lighter, more awake, maybe even a little brighter inside? These are your body's quiet messages, guiding you with more honesty than any rule book ever could. Remember, movement is not about striving or achieving. It is about honoring the gift of being able to move at all. Each step, each stretch, each lift is a way of saying thank you to the body that has carried you through so many years. Be gentle, be consistent, and let every small action remind you that strength can be nurtured at any age, especially when it comes with kindness. Choosing a nourishing meal over an empty one, sipping water with awareness instead of all at once, rising from your chair a few more times each day. Each of these choices is like planting a seed. You may not see the tree overnight, but in time you feel the shade, the strength, the quiet comfort it brings. Aging is not about loss, it is about refinement. The unnecessary falls away, leaving only what truly matters. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. What you need now is to care for yourself with the same tenderness you once gave to others. Can you allow yourself that kindness? Can you release the harsh expectations of the past and embrace softer, wiser ways of living now? Think of it this way. Your body has been your faithful companion through storms and sunshine alike. It has carried you, healed you, and adapted for you. Doesn't it deserve, even now, to be met with gratitude rather than neglect? Imagine greeting each day with a small act of care, not out of obligation, but out of love for the life still flowing through you. This is how peace and vitality return, little by little, moment by moment. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to chase perfection. You simply need to lean gently toward choices that make you feel steadier, calmer, more alive. That is enough. That is more than enough. And if these reflections speak to you, consider subscribing so you don't miss future words meant to guide and comfort you along the way. I would also love to hear from you. What is one small habit you feel ready to shift after reading this? Share your thoughts in the comments because your journey, your voice, and your wisdom matter here.